Guys, Jake here. Normally on my channel I talk about finance and investing topics, but in today's video I'm going to give myself a hall pass because I really want to talk about one of the biggest news stories from the last 2 weeks. For those of you who don't know my background, I'm currently serving on active duty. I'm a captain in the Air Force stationed at Minot Air Force Base, and I just got to say it, but officially I can neither confirm nor deny the existence of UAPs, UFOs, extraterrestrial life. But unofficially, guys, I don't know anything. I'm a missileer. I'm a nuclear and missile operations officer, so I actually spend a lot of time underground, and I don't really have a good line of sight for those UFOs or dem aliens. But what I can talk about is these 3 UAP videos that have been declassified and confirmed by the Department of Defense. The first one being filmed off the coast of Florida, this one being filmed off the coast of Virginia, and this one being the famous Tic Tac encounter off the coast of San Diego. And what have we observed? Obviously, there are hundreds, thousands of UAP sightings by service members, but we're only going to talk about these 3 and what we've observed, what we know. And they can travel, these UAPs, can travel at very high altitudes, up to 80,000 feet in the air. They can exceed 600 G-forces and travel at speeds of 13,000 miles per hour. These UAPs have no markings, no wings, no cockpits, no propulsion system, no exhaust plumes. This is the really weird part. They don't create noise. They travel faster than the speed of sound, but when they go supersonic, there's no sonic boom. They've been observed flying over bases and obviously close to military aircraft, but they don't make sonic booms when they speed off. They're capable of rotation, maneuvering, and evasion, showing that they're aware of us. It's not just us perceiving them, they're responding to us. And these crafts just seem completely unaffected by Earth's gravitational force. And they frequently enter our airspace at will, and Navy pilots, Air Force pilots say that they encounter these things all the time. How do we know this? And we know this because we can track them and sense them on radar. Now, obviously, you need to be a skeptic and say, well, is the equipment malfunctioning? Potentially, there was a sensor error and the radar is not accurate. They've also been seen on infrared targeting of these F-18s. This is the forward-looking infrared footage on the guns. Once again, we have to always entertain the possibility that this is faulty data and an error in the footage. But pilots also take digital cameras up into the cockpits with them, and when they get eyesight on these UAPs, they just use their digital camera and start taking photos of them. But it really is the eyewitness accounts in this 60 Minutes interview that, in my opinion, is the most compelling evidence. And in the 60 Minutes segment, you'll hear from Commander David Fravor and Lieutenant Commander Alex Dietrich. They took the video. Well, no, they got eyewitness accounts of the Tic Tac off the coast of San Diego. The 60 Minutes interview also met with Lieutenant Ryan Graves, who took the video from the UAP off Virginia Beach. And you'll notice in this picture of Lieutenant Commander Alex Dietrich, she's got this digital camera up in the cockpit with her, and they just start taking photos. What the heck is that? What the heck is that? That could be a cloud, or it could not be a cloud. I'm not sure. And let's talk about the facts regarding the Tic Tac incident, because this was 4 naval officers, the 2 pilots and then their weapons systems officers, that had eyes on this thing, they said, for over 5 minutes. So the USS Nimitz was tracking this. I think it was the USS Princeton. And the jets scrambled out to go investigate what they had caught on radar that traveled from 80,000 feet down to 50 feet above sea level within seconds. And the F-18s were just circling around it as it was hovering above sea level. And the pilots say that it was tic-tac shaped. You could think of it maybe as the size of a giant propane tank, maybe as big as a school bus potentially. And it was just kind of bouncing around on the water. And after a couple minutes, Commander Fravor decided to take his F-18 down to descend to go get a closer look. And the Tic Tac then responded. It started spiraling up to basically intercept the F-18. Pretty crazy. And right when Commander Fravor was about to basically be right in front of this thing, it just vanished. It blipped out of existence. Both F-18s didn't see where it went or how it basically left the area. But then seconds later, the USS Princeton reacquired the Tic Tac 60 miles away. And at this point, additional F-18s were scrambled into the air, and they were able to get this footage from the forward-looking guns of the Tic Tac before it sped off and they lost complete contact with it. So all of the officers that encountered this Tic Tac came back to the USS Nimitz and they filed reports. They gave statements of what they encountered, what they saw, and they just forwarded up the chain of command. Now, I'm sure leadership took them seriously, but they said in the interview within 30 minutes, everybody on the ship was aware of what they had reported, what they had said, and they were met with ridicule. People on the ship started playing the movie Signs and Men in Black or Independence Day. There's this perception when you speak about UFOs that it's silly, it's imaginary, you're seeing things. I definitely can understand why a military officer who is career focused would not want this attention. If you can't prove what you saw, what is the benefit of bringing it up if there was no harm, no foul in the whole incident? And for a very long time, this has just been the official policy of the DoD. They say, what do you want us to do about them? If people are seeing things and they can't verify them, they can't prove them, less is more. We're not going to say anything because there's nothing to confirm. There's nothing to say. And the history of the DoD with UFOs, UAPs, whatever they call them now, the only thing that we really know is about Project Blue Book. And this was started in the 50s to investigate all of these numerous UFO sightings. And this was closed in 1969. And I think actually Project Blue Book did a really good job of addressing and eliminating lots and lots of erroneous claims of UFOs. I think in our nation's history we have had next generation planes in testing, and they've been flying over the continent, and people have been reporting those as UFOs. Likely, weather balloons, unusual experimental aircraft, natural events. I think 99.9% of UFO sightings can be rationally explained, but there's still this very small percent that can't. And something that Neil deGrasse Tyson argued that is very convincing is, why don't people get abducted by aliens anymore? In the 50s, 60s, 70s, tens of thousands of people came forward to say that a flying saucer in the sky picked them up and drew them towards the lights. Well, it's the year 2021 now, and everybody has a HD camera in their pocket where they can live stream their own abduction. Nobody is live streaming their abduction, meaning nobody's being abducted. And it's more than likely that every claim of an alien abduction in the 50s, 60s, and 70s was the person just making it up. Same thing with crop circles. Now that we have satellite imagery and lots of CCTV cameras everywhere, the crop circles have stopped. These were really popular in the 90s, but they weren't aliens. They were people playing jokes on the media and the world at large, just looking for attention. And the reason why the story of these Navy pilots is getting traction is because some congressman last year in the COVID-19 relief bill stuck in a provision saying that a committee had to investigate these UAPs and deliver an unclassified report to Congress within 180 days in 2021. So whatever senator or congressman snuck this into this 1,000+ page bill, bravo, I applaud you. Because now the DoD has to do it. They have to produce an unclassified report available to the public outlining what they know about UAPs. What potentially could we get from this unclassified DoD report coming out next month? We could get more and better pictures of UAPs. We could get more and better videos. We could get more incidents officially declassified so that the military service personnel involved in them could come forward and tell their stories. I think that would be personally very interesting. And what's the goal of all of this? What's the goal of the committee and the reports? And it's to create a process within the DoD to take UAPs seriously. Now, I'm not saying that the DoD doesn't take them seriously. I'm just saying that there should be a process to publicly take them seriously where service members can come forward and just give their account of what happened and not feel intimidated or concerned about maybe their reputation or how their peers might perceive them. Two, every video, every photo, every eyewitness account is useful data to scientists and engineers. If we can glean any kind of information from these encounters, potentially that is useful information that we can use to our advantage. And third is we should have a process to clear up explained events, like the 2017 SpaceX launch that I was part of. If people come forward and officially report, UAPs, UFOs, and they can be resolved rationally, then for the rest of their lives, they're not anecdotally saying, hey, once upon a time, this crazy thing happened. If you report it, it can be dispelled if it is easily explainable. And first thing that we've been told is that it's not us. In the 60-minute interview, Christopher Mellon, former Deputy Assistant Secretary of Defense for Intelligence under Clinton and Bush, has said he had access to our nation's secret military programs, and he's confident these UAPs are not our tech, it's not us. So the first obvious possibility is that this is technology belonging to a foreign adversary and they're using it to enter our airspace and spy on us. Now, how likely is this? I find it rather unlikely because the capability of these aircraft, their technology is 100 to 10,000 years in front of us. The fact that another nation could have developed this kind of aircraft or technology without our intelligence operations being able to intercept it or be aware of it, it's just unlikely this is another country. The second option is that it's a natural phenomenon. It's kind of hubris to believe that we already know everything there is to know about our planet. This could be naturally occurring events or some kind of native species to our planet that, for good reason, chooses to avoid us. So you can never really rule out until you know what it is. You can't rule out the possibility that this is some kind of natural phenomenon on our planet that has always been there. When it comes to the known world and what science can explain, so far we're confident there are 12 particles of matter and 4 forces of nature. However, science has not finished. 100 years from now, 1,000 years from now, science is only going to keep learning, keep growing. When you think about the observable universe, the periodic table of elements, we got this down. That only makes up 5% of the universe. The other 95% is dark energy and dark matter. We can prove that it exists, but we can't perceive it. So what forces of nature, what particles of matter, what events can possibly happen given that 95% of our universe is not the stuff that we understand or think about? There's a lot of potential of what could be. Option 5 is probably the one that gets most people excited, and that these are alien visitors from other star systems. And unfortunately, I think this is actually the least probable. Given how long humanity has been broadcasting radio waves into space, less than 100 years, if those radio waves are traveling at the speed of light, then the only people that could know that we're here are about 80 light years away. There are star systems, I think, that close, but what are the chances that an intelligent, advanced civilization capable of interstellar travel would pick them up, know we're here, and then come visit us? If advanced civilizations in the galaxy have the ability through telescopes to observe our planet, they can only see what the speed of light can deliver them as far as information. So if they're 60 million light years away and they're looking at us through a telescope, they're just seeing dinosaurs. Additionally, space in general is just very inhospitable to organic life. If organic life developed on other star systems, the fact that those organic lives would get in a ship and come visit us is just very unlikely. Space is really good at killing us. So more than likely, they would be sending probes, they would be sending unmanned aircraft. But even then, I don't think anybody knows that we're here because we've just not been broadcasting our intelligence long enough for somebody else to find us. So when we think about intelligent civilizations in the universe, there's something called the Drake equation. How does it work? Well, you take all of these probabilities, probability of star formation, what stars have planets, what planets could support life, what planets actually develop life. So there's all these factors to go in to estimate, and they're all very conservative numbers. How many advanced intelligent civilizations are there just in the Milky Way galaxy? And according to the Drake equation, there's over 10,000. There's over 10,000 advanced intelligent civilizations just in the Milky Way galaxy. However, once again, this is pure science fiction, but if there are intelligent advanced civilizations existing in higher dimensions, how many of them are there if we were to have a Drake equation for parallel universe or multi-dimensional advanced civilizations? There would be a lot. So when we look at these UAPs blipping into our reality, they all look different. And they all look different because they could be different technology from different higher dimension civilizations. And they're all choosing to blip in to observe and record and visit us. Now that's really out there thinking, and once again, no credible scientist would propose this because there's no basis in fact. But I'm a big science fiction fan. I love Star Trek, and people want to know, why aren't these aliens or higher dimension beings contacting us? Why aren't they interacting with us? And in Star Trek, they have something called the Prime Directive, where you don't interact with or interrupt the natural development of a lower species or lower civilization. So if they are capable of coming into our dimension or traveling to our planet, they have faster than light speed or whatever, then we look primitive to them. And they're scientists, they're explorers, they've solved the problems of finite resources, finite energy, and they're explorers. And yes, they want to observe us, but there's nothing to benefit from interacting with us, to making contact with us. In fact, probably, according to Star Trek, it's harmful. It's harmful for them to make themselves known because it would interrupt our natural development. It would be dangerous. So that's what I got, guys. I've got 7 possibilities for what these UAPs could be, but honestly, the most likely one is 8 something else, something that we are not considering, something that we do not know. And eventually, if it takes hundreds or thousands of years, we will figure this out and we will have definitive proof of what these UAPs are. And I hope I'm still alive when we do get that confirmation. I think it's fun and exciting, and hopefully science and technology, our own, can keep progressing to the point where we might be visiting other people someday.